OBS or XSplit or anything. Oh, we're live.
Oh, you're good. Welcome back to the channel, guys. No one's in just yet, but just looking at having a conversation with Chris James tonight. Thanks to Thomas Ellington for setting this up. We're going to be talking some, recent stuff that's going on and recent stuff that happened to me within the last 30 minutes. What's going on tonight, Chris? Or today, because where are you? UK, Australia? Yeah.
So it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Pretty lazy day, so good time to stream. Yeah, not much, but yeah, thanks for having me on, and thanks Thomas, good friend of mine, good friend of ours, for queuing this up. Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Like I was telling you before we started the stream, like we got into a conversation that like people vamp and others were warning me. They're like, you might want to be careful talking about these people because they're the kind to spread your shit around. And I don't know if they were the ones who came to it or what a tweet I had right before, but as we were talking about, my Twitter just got locked out for suspicious activity.
Literally, it was super crazy because you and I were DMing each other, and then I was on Twitter on my MacBook, and like I refreshed your page, and then it came up as your Twitter account's been suspended for suspicious activity.
Yeah, and the funniest part about it is it either came from me talking about the Childish Gambino stuff to some people immediately after I posted it, or it came from those people who me and Thomas were talking about, the anime avatar people who were pretty pissed off that we were calling them out for, passing around some personal information and doxing people, which Thomas has proof of. So,
look, if it's come off the back of like a conversation you've had with Thomas or whatever, I think the truth will be revealed in due time. If not, it's probably something you said about Kanye.
Yeah, well, all I said is that Childish Gambino is saying some of the stuff that Kanye was saying based on the stuff going on in that video that he just put out. I'm gonna share my screen right now because this is what I'm getting. So I hit the verify my information and to send me a text, and that's what I got. I also got this. And apparently I've exhibited automated behavior that violates the rules. Because I was tweeting fast, I don't know, or responding to people quick. Automated behavior.
Is that them suggesting that you might be a bot?
I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. I've only ever had my account suspended for like, I don't know, like 12 hours or something, and I could still DM.
I couldn't get into my DMs. I had to use my backup account because of the fact that it locked me out and I couldn't get to interact with you and let you know, hey, like here's the shit going down.
That's crazy. So you're locked out for 7 days.
No, it didn't give me a time frame. What it said was I have to verify the phone number they have on file, which I requested a text, and because that's the only way they do it. So they text it, or were supposed to text it, but they haven't sent me a text, and I requested it 3-4 times. I had to do a CAPTCHA to prove that I'm human.
That's crazy, man. Your Twitter account is smoked, dude.
Yeah, temporarily at least. So I don't know. I honestly think it came off of the tweets when I was in the thread about the Childish Gambino video.
Oh, for sure. Well, how many comments did you make?
3 within probably about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Responses to other people's comments.
Yeah. Well, that's probably why it said something about automated comments or something. They think you're a robot, dude.
Jesus, I just text really fast, man. Like, I don't know.
Have you seen those competitions? I don't know if they're still around. Like you remember back in the day where your phone had the alphanumeric keypad, and you remember there were like competitions like who can text the fastest, but it like went on like this worldwide scale, and there was all these Japanese kids who could just like hammer out text messages like crazy, thousands of characters.
Yeah, where you had to actually hit the same button like 3 times to get to the letter you want.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
apparently being able to text fast on an iPhone now equals you're a bot.
exactly. Exactly. So, I mean, I would love to see what you could have done on one of those alphanumeric keypads based on this, man.
I guess, dude, if that's what they're pushing for. What's going on, everyone in the chat? What's going on tonight, Matt? And yes, Oren, I am a bot now, and that is a big congratulations. I'm Russian, as you can tell by, my accent and everything. I was part of everything going on with the Trump campaign.
Speaking of Russians and Kanye, did you see a couple of days ago, it was circulating on Twitter, people were saying that Kanye is possibly a Russian agent. He possibly has Russian connections.
You're fucking kidding me, right?
I'm not kidding you, man. I tweeted about this, and I'm going to try and bring it up. I'm not even joking. Like, the liberals have just gone so far over the edge with their Russian craziness that Kanye is now a Russian agent.
What are they going to say about Childish Gambino now that he's calling out like 700 different things in his recent music video?
Well, see, I hadn't seen that music video. I'm obviously not as cool and young as I may appear. But you linked it to me, and I watched it a couple of times, and I really think that and I was looking through the YouTube comments on it, like people from seemingly either side of the political aisle are creating their own narrative for this video clip, which I find really interesting. It doesn't, some people are saying, well, it's this performance arts piece around gun control. And then other people, like you're saying, that, he's calling out Antifa and, there's Jim Crow references and all this sort of stuff. And so, like, a lot of people are drawing their own conclusions, which I find really interesting. Like, he is not hammering home one particular narrative or the other, which I think's a really clever thing on his part.
Yeah. It sparks a conversation on something that anyone can be from any side. Like, I'm middle right, but like I can see the references to, police violence because, the police cars and then the white horse being death,
And then obviously the black church choir where he pulls out the gun and shoots them. I don't know if that's, some sort of like Dylan Roof kind of symbology there or not. I'm not sure. But it's really crazy. And I think that the really cool thing, because you told me to watch it again and focus on Donald Glover's very flexible pectoral muscles, which I was thinking that was the only message of this whole video clip. Like, God damn, this guy has got big pecs. Like, I was like, yeah, that's a good message. But when I watched it again, I just focused on the background, and you do see all that sort of social political commentary in the video clip. What I find really interesting is the fact that he's at the forefront and he's just dancing and singing, and that's what you see. But then when you look past that, you see the truth of what's really going on, and it kind of shows like maybe this is what you were talking about with mainstream media. They want to show you one thing, but you've got to look beyond that to see the real picture. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what I've seen and what I was talking about with that is you have these distractors, whether it be entertainers, the media, other things in front of you when you're not really seeing what everything else is going on. Like there's a part where it pans up and you see people sitting on the balcony and they're all wearing freaking white masks covering their faces. And
I thought there was like 3 or 4 dudes sitting on the rafters.
Yeah. Yeah, and with that and the symbology of the riot going on in the background and all this other stuff and just general violence and black on black crime and then, you know, like police violence and other things, it's just a trip how much he fit in while being the distractor, because the video is not about him really, it's about what's going on behind him, you know.
Oh, for sure, man. It's honestly like it's a great song. Like I really enjoyed the song. Like it's got, you know, what, half a dozen lyrics. Like,
Yeah.
it's very minimalistic, but yeah, the video clip, man, I'm gonna watch that again for sure. Like that was really cool. Did you get my DM just then?
To my other account?
Yeah, to your backup account.
Gotcha. Before I jump on that, I wanted to share this. I think this is the funniest thing I've seen come out of that is an Avengers meme already came out of it. I don't know if you've seen the movie. If you haven't, I'm sorry.
No, I haven't, but this video clip is certainly going to be memed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. I don't know, man. That's one of the things I found when we were talking, and I even commented on something like that, you know, and people freaked out about that. Hold on. I'm going to share this. This is what happens when you are entirely consumed by Trump derangement syndrome. The left has completely lost their marbles. I'm not saying Kanye West is involved at all in the Trump-Russia scandal, but I am saying he has Russian ties and was there right after the 2016 election. And let's see, this guy is actually a blue check mark and got 4 comments.
Oh no, you'll my tweet there that's got like 9 likes and 4 comments.
Oh,
I just screen grabbed it.
Okay. I was curious because I was gonna say, damn, dude, this guy's a blue check mark and he's got nothing, like no role, no nothing. I don't know, man. You'd think that people would try and find other things to focus on instead of collusion and meddling and all this other garbage going on, you know?
Well, you know, people don't want their little narrative to be burst, do they?
No, and I think people are afraid of a person like a Kanye or whatever, you know, like a Childish Gambino, where he's trying to get out some message where it's up to interpretation, and people don't want to hear it.
Yeah, well, I was on a live stream last night, and I was going to bring this up as well, but I didn't. You know, even like Chance the Rapper, when Chance the Rapper came out and said black people don't have to be Democrats, and collective heads just exploded.
Yeah, and then he had to roll back his statement because he got so much flack from the left and from people in general. Well, not everyone, but people who are Democrats, obviously freaking out because what kind of narrative do you spin when you have these big entertainers who have a lot of voice saying these things? Of course, the like liberals, the progressives these days, not even liberals, are going to piss their pants because it's 2018 and they have an election to go after, you know?
Oh, sure. And, you know, these, as you say, I mean, these people have got such a pedestal, like have got so much power, influence over the culture. And yeah, when you've got Kanye or Childish Gambino coming out and doing this stuff, you know, Kanye's a bit more flagrant, I would say, in what he's doing, but it's going to cause the left to, as you say, piss their pants.
Yeah, and I think they're just, well, and that's why, look at what the media did. They took a 1-minute clip of his interview with TMZ and twisted it to make him seem like all he was saying throughout that whole conversation was that black people chose to be slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. And this goes back to the Childish Gambino video clip, man. The media are showing you one thing. The media are saying that, you know, Kanye West is, you know, saying that black people choose to be slaves. and then you just delve a little bit deeper, look up the full thing, and you'll get the truth.
Yeah, and someone in chat's like, Kanye's always been flamboyant. Yeah, he's never been afraid to speak his mind in all reality, or he's got, you know, he's got some crazy ideas, but now that his ideas he's showing his political side, people are freaking out because it doesn't match what they want the narrative to be for a black person.
Yeah. 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 Sorry, man.
No, you're good.
Oh, I was just going to waffle on some more. You were probably going to make a really salient point.
No, you're totally fine. This is a conversation, man. You know, like, I don't know. That's why I like having guests on, because you know what? I could sit here and talk in my own bubble, or I could talk to people who may have different views.
Oh, for sure. Back onto, like, because we are talking about the Childish Gambino video clip. Like, what do you think? I was actually watching Philip DeFranco before, and Philly D was saying it was really interesting that Childish Gambino video clip was #1 trending on YouTube everywhere else in the world except for in America.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That honestly, I think the reason why they didn't trend it, which is completely and utterly stupid, is because it has what seems like someone getting killed with a gun, even though you see the person later playing the guitar sitting in the chair. Also, it has a reference to a choir or a church getting shot up. And I think Twitter on the brain. YouTube is being a little bit overly sensitive to these things right now.
Well, this just popped into my mind. So YouTube didn't trend that, but YouTube did trend that XXX Tentacon or whatever his name is, that video where he hangs the white kid. Do you remember that video clip?
Yeah. Like,
YouTube did trend that.
Well, didn't that catch them a lot of shit though when they trended that?
Oh yeah, for sure. But
this is also artistic. This isn't actually happening.
Yeah, well, I mean, that video clip, that shit didn't actually happen either. But that was, it could be considered art. But it's just very interesting that I just find YouTube and Silicon Valley and what they do and don't do very interesting. Like, what are their reasoning behind, not trending this in the US? Which, I mean, you've made some really valid points. But when you look back at, some of the shit that YouTube trends and some of the shit that YouTube promotes, it's like, where's the consistency gear? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. And that's what me and my really good friend who actually helps me with my creative side of my channel, like when I do actual created content, Sicko, we're talking about earlier today. He's like, he's the one, he's like, dude, you need to watch this video. I'm like, okay. He's like, it is like it was this morning when I saw it, it was 22 million views in less than 24 hours. And it didn't hit trending.
Is this Childish Gambino?
Yeah.
We're talking about? Or? Yeah.
22 million views and nothing else on trending, or the #1 thing on trending was nowhere near that many views. So like, what is trending to YouTube? Is it view counts, or is it what's politically correct in their eyes?
Yeah, exactly. Like what, I mean, and this is the thing, like we know from Facebook that, or the Facebook, we know that they did have staff to curate the news feed, and they've now replaced it with bots. But as we know, bots can be human.
Yeah, someone in the chat was saying that the new censorship AI is out, which, I mean, could make sense, especially since looking at the numbers right now, that video has 29 million views in 2 days. Because it came out late on Saturday night after his Saturday Night Live performance. And after everyone online has been calling them out, if you look at trending now, they have the SNL performance on trending now, but they don't have the actual music video on trending.
Yeah, that's interesting. So for SNL, are they tied into like YouTube's streaming service, like a preferred partner or something?
Probably, but this is just the Childish Gambino performance. So it's the 3 minutes 50 seconds of that video, or of that Saturday night's snippet, you know, where the musical act performs, and he performed that song. And it's got 1.1 million views. And the number one right now is a Fortnite video with Ninja and Dude Perfect, and it's got 4 million views. And there's nothing else like close to the numbers that video put out in 2 days.
Possibly is YouTube just going, oh crap, mate, we can't trend this in the US. Look at what's happened with Kanye. Look at what happened with Chance the Rapper. And although, as we've established, Childish Gambino is not being partisan, he's not trying to like push an ideological he's not trying to push an ideological agenda to one side or the other of the political aisle in this video clip, I don't think. And maybe YouTube are just like, we can't trend this.
Because
we're gonna catch static for this.
Well, yeah, and the first gunshot's very, very apparent. So they could probably, because of the stuff with like gun violence and everything, and maybe it's their new policies, because I know they did put out that statement about guns and them not allowing guns on the platform anymore.
Yeah, and even you can't what is it in Google? You can't go to Google Shopping and have anything that's got gun in it. I mean, Tim Pool did an excellent video on it, but it would, if they were trending something that had gun violence in it, they would called out for being hypocrites.
Yeah, and that's what I think it is, because it's a video that shows that, and then if they're allowing big celebrities to do stuff like that or creative stuff like that, but they won't let smaller creators do it, then the smaller creators would be all up their asses.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably a calculated move. It's probably not a political thing on YouTube's part. It's probably just a damage control thing.
Yeah, I think it probably has a lot to do with that. And then the simple fact of the matter is, it isn't one political view, and it has multiple layers to it. And I mean, he's calling out lots of things that are going on in the US right now. So I don't think you could say it's one side or the other, but maybe they just don't want to, potentially press the issue, especially if they saw the comments and people are, leaning both sides on it, and they have different theories. They don't want to, fall into some, if it has advertisements on it or anything. I don't know, because I have Red right now. So if it has ads on it and it runs ads, but you would think that it would get an adult rating. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. But it doesn't have an adult rating, which is interesting. But oh damn, I just lost my train of thought. You go ahead, man.
Yeah, because you know how the policy about guns and everything else on the site that they just put out and changed, you would think that this would flag it too. Or unless, because it's, what is it, Vivo? I don't know if it's Vivo or not.
No, it didn't come up as Vivo.
Actually, it's his own account. So I just wonder if it's because of the fact that they know it's an artist, or what the play is on it, that they're not hitting it for anything.
Yeah, because I mean, like, if you or I released a video clip exactly the same and had some of that imagery in there, man, it would be flagged for sure. It would be ripped off of YouTube within 12 hours.
I don't think, if you look at the I think it's about, someone's saying they think it's about the gun ban fiasco. You're saying that you mean it's about all the different views on it, because there's a lot going on in there too that are in the background. But I'm sure the gun stuff is, I mean, because that's one of the main things you see. But I don't know, man. I honestly, I don't think it's purely about that. I think there's a lot more. Like, if you notice, like someone was bringing this up in a thread on Twitter, is that a lot of it is black on black crime and the rioting and the stuff like that, where that's one of the big talking points. And right now, with, you know, like a Kanye coming out and saying that Chicago needs help and that's what his plan is and that's where he wants to focus. And then you have, you know, the talk about the Second Amendment and how, you know, the left wants to take away everyone's guns, even though they're just saying assault rifles, but now they've spun it to all guns. Like, I don't know, they're pushing a bunch of bullshit narratives.
Yeah, like I think it's just so open to interpretation, man. I was reading on the second time I watched the video clip, and I pulled it up into YouTube proper, and upon your advice, and I was just watching the background. And then when I finished it, I scrolled through all the comments, man. The comments on that video are just out of this world. Like, some of the stuff that people are spotting in there is just crazy. It kind of reminded me of like year 9 drama class, where we had to like find all the symbology in Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Like, it's just, yeah, it's just crazy what people are seeing in that video clip.
Yeah, there's even reference to old school, like Uncle Tom propaganda that was put out, and Jim Crow law stuff that was put out in the 40s and 50s.
Someone on YouTube, one of the like top rated comments, it's got like 200 likes or something, and she says something about one of the poses that he cops in the video is like a pose that was I don't know. Are you looking at the YouTube comments right now?
I was looking for the there was a tweet that I saw where they showed it side by side of the Jim Crow propaganda, and then the side by side to the scene where he's actually doing the same pose.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's interesting to see like different perspectives and different takes, because it's funny because you're not seeing any comments or people going hard at each other. It's actually like people are like dissecting it themselves. And honestly, like I'd call him a genius. I don't know if you've seen that show Atlanta or anything else. It's very dark and stuff.
Oh, I think he's an artistic genius for sure, man. Like 100%. Like, I mean, I'm not hugely familiar with his catalog of music, but you know, but the music I've heard of his is just great. And I knew that he was good, like, and he was legitimate. Like, going back 4 or 5 years ago, I remember hearing him on. I think he was on Sway in the Morning, and he was doing like 50 Bars of Death or whatever. And the guy's got some serious talent. The guy really knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and this is his last album, as far as I know. He's talked that this is going to be his retirement album.
Really?
Yeah, because he's been doing it for a while now. He was doing acting on
Community.
On Community. 30 Rock from the Sun is where he started as a writer. And did some, you know, background stuff, but he had said recently that this is his last album as Childish Gambino, which could mean he could go into something else, but I don't know. Maybe he just wants to focus more on directing and stuff like that with, you know, his acting.
Well, I know that when he toured last, you know, people were paying to see him as, you know, do his Childish Gambino music, and he basically got on stage and did like a 45-minute set of like this weird esoteric spoken word experimental stuff. People were pissed off. They're like, I paid $150 to see a Childish Gambino concert and we get this. So maybe that's what he's moving into. Maybe he's moving into like weird experimental shit. I don't know.
Yeah, either that or he's gonna just go back to the Donald Glover stuff and act. I mean, he's pulling big stuff like with the Han Solo movie and everything else, you know.
But I think it would be such a pity, like having just watched this video clip and everything surrounding it. It would be such a pity if he did just retire his music, because you know, the song itself as a standalone piece is great, but it doesn't really particularly have any message. But coupled with the video clip, like, it would be a disappointment to see him retire when he can push out work like this.
Yeah, and you know what I found funny is the one thing that someone pointed out in the comments and everywhere else on Twitter was the line where says grandma said, "Get that money."
Yep.
Yeah, so from what others have said, it's a reference to what people are taught, and Black people are taught in their community, that, you know, the focus is money in life and go after money. And so I think he's pointing out something like that as well. So, I mean, there's some lyrical ties, and I think there's a lot of stuff, but as someone was saying, as an art piece, the video is actually pretty great. It doesn't picture any of the success in Evolved America, but as an art piece, it's very moving. It touches so many platforms politically that YouTube may not want to trend it. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. Was that in the live chat? I don't have the live chat open.
Yeah, that's in the live chat. I always have it running so I can I try to actually interact. Well, John, open up a second window. Don't leave my stream to go watch it. Watch it while you're just mute my stream.
I know. I always have the live chat open as well, even when I'm on other streams. But I'm just getting some serious lag at the moment. And
you're good, brother.
Anything is just gonna screw me up. But I'm checking the live chat now.
Yeah, I was trying to find the picture. Oh, there's the picture. There's a good picture. Let me see. Let me share my screen. So this is the reference, that pose he does at the very beginning.
Yes.
Is a reference to this.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, just that last comment from John Duncan. Yeah, it does sound like something LP would create. At least LP these days, not LP, you know, back in the company flow days.
Dude, LP, I got into LP when I was watching, or because I was really into Trent Reznor and Nine Inch Nails when I was younger, and him and LP did a song together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was on his maybe his second album. So, but it was one of those things. I'm going to try and pull it up.
Was that on like LP, one of LP's albums?
Yeah.
Was it LP's first solo record outside of Company Flow? Was that Deep Space 9mm?
It was on the album I'll Sleep When You're Dead.
Okay.
So it was the second album by LP, and the song was called Flyentology, but it has the lead singer from Nine Inch Nails in it, and so that's how I came across it. And I was like, I really like what this guy's style, and then I got into him.
His beat production as well as his lyrics are very dense. It packs a lot in. LP packs a lot in. But speaking of Nine Inch Nails, you might remember this, like when Nine Inch Nails were like really at their peak in like that mid to late 90s. Do you remember when Trent Reznor's dog had died? And apparently, like, the Nine Inch Nails fans, like the real hardcore Nine Inch Nails fans, were super happy about Trent Reznor's dog dying because it meant that Trent Reznor was going to make, like, you know, more depressing music and shit.
I remember hearing something about that, but I did not know that was their thought process, because I was a fan later in the late 90s.
Like, they were super stoked that, like, Trent Reznor's dog has died, and Trent Reznor is super upset that his dog is dead. Now we're going to get some great Nine Inch Nails music.
Shit.
How fucked up is that?
The shit freaking people get, like, stoked about. You know, it's and apparently it happened. I'm looking it up right now. It happened
Was
at
that like
a concert
98? Oh, it
90
happened at a concert.
95, and it actually happened at a concert. They were walking behind the arena's balcony, and the dog jumped over the railing, and people
That's
were stoked
morbid.
about that. People
That's
were stoked
morbid.
about that. It's like, oh, well, at least we get some, sad Nine Inch Nails now.
Oh, there's going to be a new album coming out within the next 3 months based on this.
Yeah, no shit. But
Nice,
they,
man.
I just saw them for the first time, and they played Los Angeles. And they played, what did they play? That big concert that they do in the summer out here in Los Angeles. It's like a festival that they do at the USC, the Southern California, their stadium. And like Nine Inch Nails played as one of the headliners, and then there were quite a few bands there because it was a big show. But I saw Nine Inch Nails, that band, Iggy Pop played.
Yeah, Pop, he's a legend, isn't he?
Yeah, that motherfucker,
He
dude.
doesn't give a shit, does he?
He's like 65 and still does that? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. And Iggy Pop's awesome. He's got I think he's got his own radio show. I don't know what channel it's on. But that's the extent of that story.
Well, it's probably on
story,
satellite, right? It's probably on satellite radio or something.
Yeah, he's cool as hell, man. But I think Iggy Pop's like completely clean. Like I don't think he's on the gear anymore. I think he's completely clean because he had that record that came out in the 70s, which was Lust for Life.
Yeah.
And I think that was when he cleaned up his act and he got off the gear and everything. And he's been sober ever since.
Shit. And Nails, I didn't know this. They're playing a lot of shows here in the UK, and they're playing 3 nights in Las Vegas. Weird. Might have to check that out.
I didn't even know the Nails were together.
Yeah. They came back together not too long ago, and he brought back he was bringing back a few people from the old band. Some left, but the band's always been Trent Reznor. So,
well, same as the Pumpkins, man. The Pumpkins are they reforming now? They're doing a tour, or
they were. Last I heard that they were trying to get the originals back.
I think to get the originals back together, but I don't think Darcy was included.
That I heard that Billy was talking to her from the last I heard. And they're on tour right now, apparently.
Well,
Jesus,
the Pumpkins, just like the Nails, were like it's the Billy Corgan show. Like, yeah, like half of their music, like the Pumpkins, even the original lineup, were basically a tour band. Like in the studio, he recorded all of the drums, all of the guitars. He would erase their recordings and record himself after hours because he thought he was better than everyone else.
Yeah, he was definitely, at least back then, he was extremely arrogant. But apparently they're on tour too. I don't know who's in the band right now, but like, yeah,
he's another celebrity who's flip-flopped all over the place. You remember when a couple of years ago he was on the Alex Jones show?
Really?
Because him and Alex Jones are friends.
What?
Yeah, and so he was on the Alex Jones show, and I remember Alex Jones went backstage before a Billy Corgan concert or a Pumpkins concert and was interviewing Billy Corgan, probably when they were in Dallas or somewhere. But yeah, and so Billy Corgan sort of came out with all these right-leaning talking points and conspiratorial, like the frogs are turning gay kind of things. And recently Corgan was like backtracked on all of that. And I know he was within the last 6 months, he was on Joe Rogan's show and basically has disavowed everything he said over the past couple of years, and he just wants to focus on music and being a wrestling promoter because he owns a wrestling league.
What?
Yeah, like one of the big wrestling leagues.
Weird. I wonder if he's involved in like WWE or has partial ownership or something.
It's one of those things, man. I don't follow wrestling, but I know he's like hyper involved in one of those big wrestling firms or companies.
Huh. Yeah, so the band is the first time that I've seen the band without a girl. Like they don't have a girl member for the first time in shit probably ever. It's Billy, James Eha, Jimmy Chamberlain, and Jeff Schroeder, who came in after early 2000s, 2007 he came in.
Admittedly, like back in the day, James Eha did look pretty feminine, like, you know, from a distance.
Right.
Like if you were standing from a distance and you were like a little bit liquored up, you could just be like, that's a good looking girl.
Are traps gay is the question.
The answer is yes.
Oh shit. But yeah, so no, he's always had a female bassist, and this is weird to see the Smashing Pumpkins without a female bassist.
Yeah, well, I went and saw like the because God, this has just turned in. This is good, man. We're just talking music. I went and saw the Pixies on their last tour, and you know, Kim Deal's no longer in the band. You've just got like some chick who looks like she's 19 years old and just worshipped the Pixies, worshipped at the throne of the Pixies, and now she's in the band. It was a bit strange.
Well, I mean, you saw what happened with like Journey and these other bands where they have falling outs with their lead singer, and then they pick up the, you know, South Korean kid who can belt it out and karaoke the best of them, you know, sounds just like him. But yeah, the Pixies, who do they have now? I don't even know who they have now, but they're...
Well, it's the whole original lineup, but they just don't have Kim Deal in the band anymore. But I'm thankful that I got to see the original lineup with Kim Deal. And so, you know, I've seen both incarnations.
Yeah. And so since we were talking about music, do you find it funny that musicians who end up like leaning to the right end up just being ripped apart, like to the extreme of, like, you look at the people like Ted Nugent, and I'm not a Chris Rock fan, but no, or Kid Rock fan, but Kid Rock, and, you know, now Kanye, who's, you know, got some ideas leaning everywhere, and people are freaking out about him. Do you think that's why?
No, like because the entertainment industry, and it doesn't matter whether or not we're talking purely about Hollywood or Los Angeles. It's the entertainment industry or the arts industry worldwide. Very left leaning, and so it's hardly a surprise that when someone goes off the you know, the political or ideological reservation when they're in that industry, that they do get ripped to shreds. You know,
it just I understand that the industry leans that way, but, you know, you would think that if people, like, because like I liked Kanye no matter where he leans. I tend to like most musicians that I like no matter their political stance. You wouldn't see me as a center-right, center person freaking out because a, you know, musician decided to flip sides, or they finally came out what their political stance was and it wasn't according to mine. You think that's a wholly left thing, or do you see like the right, the further right doing the same shit?
Well, I sort of think that you know, you, like me personally, you've got to separate like art and politics, at least to a certain degree. I mean, when they become sort of activists, that's a wholly different story. Like when they start sort of becoming radical activists for either side, and it's like, well, you're gaining some influence, you're gaining some traction for what you're doing politically, and this doesn't really mesh with me. So yeah, I'm probably not going to support your art as much as I used to. But no, I don't think it's the right that do it. And I'm a centrist like you as well. You know, like I lean to the right fiscally, and I lean over to the left, sort of socially. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Very socially liberal.
Certain social issues, I go traditional liberal, but not U.S. liberal, which people conflate as meaning you're progressive.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, like I don't see the right really doing it so much because, well, I mean, the right don't have the, or haven't traditionally had the, I don't know, cultural cachet to be able to do it. They haven't had the power over popular culture to be able to dictate and say, well, this person's wrong, this person's right, and we're going to squash this person. It's the left. The left have had that. That's been their domain. So,
yeah, and I wholly agree with that because you look at, like, okay, a good example, Taylor Swift. No one really knows what her true stance is, but because she doesn't come out for feminism, the feminists are now freaking out on her. You know.
Well, because she didn't, because she also didn't say who she voted for in the 2016 election, and they went mental at her because she wouldn't take a political stance. Well, why should she? I mean, she's going to alienate half of her audience if she does take a political stance. And I remember reading something, it was from one of these Salon or Everyday Feminism or something, and they were basically because Taylor Swift hadn't put her foot in the sand and said, yes, I am a Democrat. They were running all these articles saying that Taylor Swift is the darling of the alt-right and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, why? Why is she the darling of the alt-right? Because she doesn't feel the need to alienate 50% of her audience by saying that this is the way I lean politically. I don't even like Taylor Swift's music, but I'll defend her on that crap.
Yeah, and the simple fact is, you know what? They shouldn't have to put their political stance out there. And all right.
And the thing is that she's not a political musician. You look at the bygone era. Like, look at back in the day. Bob Dylan, he was a political musician. Who else was big around the time? I don't know, the Rolling Stones. Did anyone force the Rolling Stones to be like, what is your political position?
No one did. And no one did really. I mean, you had anti-war stuff from the Beatles, but that was primarily like anti-war and that kind of stuff, but never anything like, oh, what do you think about abortion? What do you think about, black
gun
people's rights and, trans rights? It's like, why do they need to have a stance? We've gotten so to the extreme where if they don't come out politically, then they're, they must be right leaning because they're not accepting of the, narrative that is expected of celebrities. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they must be a closeted neo-Nazi. It's just mental. And you're right, we have gotten to this extreme. We've gotten to this like hyper partisan bullshit level where it's just so fracturing. Like, you can't even have a political discussion with people who are your closest friends anymore or family members because it's destroying relationships. It's heinous. I mean, yeah. Do
you guys run into that in Australia as well? Do you guys have the hyper partisan like that?
Yeah. It's basically culturally, it's pretty much the same, just in a smaller package.
Gotcha.
The same levels of hyper-partisan insanity and division exist over here. Whether that be left versus right, or whether it be, cultural and or identity politics, whether that be sort of sexual politics or racial politics, whatever it may be. It's the same shit, just in a smaller box. And by smaller box, I mean, population.
Yeah. Yeah. And some, Oren, you're right. Welcome to 2018, where you stand matters. People want you to be in their echo chamber, at least if you're on that side. I don't care where you are, if you're on the left or right, but don't get mad at me for not having the same views as you. That's kind of where I lay.
Yeah. Well, I'm not dissimilar. Like, I don't care if you're left or right, as long as you're not like a raving, screaming lunatic. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a discussion. Let's hash this out. And like, I'm open to new ideas. I'm open to having my stance or opinion changed on certain issues if I'm presented with new evidence. Like, if someone can say, hey, your position on this, Chris, I think it's wrong, and I'll present you evidence as to why it's wrong. Well, I'll do my due diligence. I'll do my research, and I'm open to shifting positions on certain issues. That's why I'm not like a hardline partisan hack.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes for people who are willing to have conversations, like people who aren't so far to either extreme. And both extremes have their problems, but we need more people that lean more centered than the extreme. Like it would open up dialogue so much more, and you'd probably find that there's a lot more things in common if you weren't looking at the hardliners and the extremists on the like left and the far right, because the far left is just as bad. I mean, you have groups on both sides that there's problems with, but what are you seeing primarily? Like massive groups of people who want to punch Nazis. Okay, cool. Like, because violence has solved anything, and they're not a problem. It's like that's not an issue to you. Like the lefties you hang out with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's simple matter. Is like you're gonna say sometimes you need violence to get results. That's never gonna end up with results. And if you're willing to push that mentality, it's only going to lead to more violence, and you're going to end up fighting each other over what? Because you guys have different world views, because you have different stances.
Violence breeds violence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. Like, on either side of the political aisle, people don't understand that, as you quite rightly said, that if we're in the center, we're probably left and right are probably going to be a lot more similar than they perceive themselves to be. And that people can't recognize that. And then conversely, at the extreme ends of the spectrum, the far left and the far right also do not realize that they're pretty much operating in exactly the same manner. They're not operating in the same manner, but they're a lot more similar than they believe to be.
Yeah, and a lot of people have, they have that theory called horseshoe theory, where as you get further to the extremes, it's closer like a horseshoe, and then it branches out. And the people who are like somewhat more moderate in each party are further away from each other, not because they have different views, and they're not obstructing each other in the similar manner, and they don't react in similar. I mean, people have disproven parts of the idea, but I mean, most of the people who are trying to disprove it are the ones who are on the left and don't want to acknowledge the fact that they're pulling the same shit that they're mad at the like the alt-righters pulling,
You see, like, with that horseshoe theory, like, you look at the far left and the far right, and they both play hardcore identity politics. Except the far right are the ones who are saying, "Oh no, fuck identity politics. You guys are playing identity politics exactly the same way, just on a lower scale."
Yeah, and their identity politics are more driven in ideas of like ethno states and stuff like that,
white nationalism and all that crap. Like, and I think the worst thing is that because the left media have a stranglehold on the culture, at least for now, or the left progressive media have a stranglehold on the culture. You've got these idiots out there. You've got your Richard Spencer types, who the alt-right and the far right, who are sort of propagating and promulgating this idea of having an ethno-state and white nationalism and stuff. And then all of us people like you and I, who are center-right people, who are common sense individuals, we get dragged down into that same coal mine with these morons. Like, why? Because
anyone slightly to the right of progressive left, like as far left as you can get, is an alt-right person. I mean, you have people in the UK who are traditional liberals, like UK liberals, and they believe in, good social programs for people who deserve it and stuff like that, but they want to be fiscally conservative, and they calling them alt-right because they share different views, because anything to the right of the progressive or regressive, as most would say, left, it doesn't meet their identity politics or their drive, and so they're an alt-righter now.
Well, that's the thing with classical liberalism, is it promotes the freedom of the individual. It promotes the individual, and the leftists, and I use the term leftism or leftist as separate from those on the left. Leftists are the crazies. That goes against all of their sort of commie, social, Marxist beliefs. So they're not going to like classical liberalism, because that promotes the individual, that promotes free markets, whereas they want redistribution of wealth, and they want to laugh about this. Did you see this shit? Karl Marx turned 200. Did you see
in the statue? In the statue that someone gave him?
Yeah, the statue in Germany.
Like, what the? Okay. First of all, that guy is a dreamer. He is someone who came up with some sort of ideology that will never, ever take place. Because one, we don't live in a world where it's possible. Even if it was the best idea ever, sorry, you're not going to ever achieve this, because humans are individual creatures, and no one's going to want to give up everything about themselves to live in your quote unquote paradise.
What I find really funny is, hang on, let's bring this up. You'll laugh at this. So there's the Karl Marx, the Karl Marx's grave, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to pay to go in and see his grave.
No.
Yes. It's like $10 for an adult and $4 for children. You have to go and pay to see Karl Marx's grave.
Are they redistributing the wealth to the poor?
I don't know. They're probably paying for the maintenance of this grave. There was in Germany, released £0 notes or €0 notes or something to mark Karl Marx's 200th birthday. So as in, Karl Marx believed money was worthless, and we're all gonna, live in a commune somewhere. The really funny thing about this is, to get your hands on one of these zero currency notes, you've got to pay $3 to buy one of them. I'm not even joking. This was to mark Karl Marx's 200th birthday.
Because the paper it's printed on, or what? Like, seriously.
Probably because socialism doesn't work.
Oh man, I just don't understand the idea, and it's proof in it. And everyone wants to. Oh, that's not real socialism. Real socialism would have worked. Are you fucking kidding me? They start out as real socialism. Venezuela did, and now everyone doesn't say, and now everyone claims it's not real socialism. It started off as real socialism. Everyone was getting equal, but then you had some greedy fucks, and you're always going to have greedy fucks. Now look at the rest of the population living on rats. I plan on taking and making as much money as I possibly can in my lifetime, and I'm going to share it with my family. I'm going to do things for the people I love, but motherfucker, I'm not going to give it away.
Commie bastard. I'm joking.
Yeah, for sharing money with my family and telling the cheapos who don't want to work hard to get fucked.
What was it that like what is the currency of Venezuela? Like what do they use as currency? I mean, like, not now because obviously
Rats.
rats, yeah. Like
I don't know. It's probably like a peso. No. Like let me see. It is Bolivares. Bolivares.
okay. Well, I was reading something recently that because their currency is just worth nothing, it's worth zero now.
Oh,
That
Jesus Christ, dude. Look at this.
that their luxury high-end.
Look at it. It's not even worth 1 cent.
Fuck.
It's worth what shit, whatever that is. I don't know, 14,000.
Yeah. And look at the little graph next to it.
Yeah.
It's on life support right now.
Yeah, it's on life support by freaking probably the US and everyone else. But like how do you even equate this to a number? It's
just,
like
I was reading something that oh wow, so hang on. 10,000 Venezuelan Boliviar equals 14 US seats.
Yeah.
Fucking baller stuff, yo.
I wonder how cheap land is down there. Like
dude, let's go and buy up a live streaming headquarters. We could be like the El Cheapo version of Team 10.
Yeah, they're falling apart though. But we could be, we're gonna go live in fucking South America.
We could go live in Venezuela.
fucking live like kings down there, dude.
It's every day, bro. It's every day, bro, with that Venezuelan flow.
Yeah, dude, and laugh at the little fucking socialists out there eating their rats as we're dining on like 5-star meals for like $3.
Well, the thing is that the luxury shops over in Venezuela, and believe they do still have luxury shops over there because all the rich people at the top of the socialist food chain who've got all the wealth, the actual 99%, mind you, are no longer accepting Venezuelan currency. They're only accepting US dollars.
Wow, why would you? It's worth fucking 14 cents for 10,000 of them. And my buddy Sicko he's all imagine all the hoes.
Oh, I'm with you, Sicko. Let's go. With a name like that, I know we're going to get some action.
Except for he goes by Deus Volt on YouTube, so it's kind of a mixed nomenclature,
Yeah, well, like I hear Sicko and then I hear Volt within the same breath, and I just think, I don't know, this guy's got some kiss the girls kind of thing going on right now, and we're gonna export that to Venezuela.
Shit, but you could live like a king and you could get any woman you wanted. That's for damn sure. I mean, on the average American paycheck, holy shit,
dude, we could go there with like, I don't know, $5 American and just be baller status, like.
Yeah, like freaking $5. Like it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't know what their like exchange rate is, huh?
How many rats $5 would buy you? Like a lifetime supply, man.
Hold on. Let's see. It'd be 349,500 of their the Bolivar. And I mean, you got to think there's some inflation down there. I mean, but even still, like $5, you're probably able to live like a couple of weeks on $5.
Oh, for sure, man.
You could rent yourself a fucking like shoebox sized apartment, and just bang out hoes and eat rats all day.
What are their internet connection speeds like down there? Like that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, probably like 10 times as fast as ours because no one can afford it.
Oh fuck yeah, man! I'm getting mad ideas. Let's get Thomas Ellington in on this.
Yeah, you get Thomas Ellington, me and you down in Venezuela, living like kings and like just trolling fucking people on YouTube.
Like if Thomas's family didn't think it was bad when he was just obsessing over Kilroy 10 times a day, imagine how bad they're going to feel when they find out he's moving to Venezuela.
Yeah, right.
to hang out with you, me, and sleazy boy like Romeo from Kiss the Girls. Like
he said he's a contradiction. That's why he has the names.
I don't want to see any of that in Venezuela, dude. Like
he's down. He said, "Bro, let's go." Yeah, dude. You know what, man? We take a couple of $1,000 down there, probably buy up half of a city. We're good to go.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Was it like what's his name? John McAfee? You know the guy who started McAfee Antivirus?
Yeah.
That guy's a really super eclectic dude. Like, you know, like he was like, I think he was wanted in questioning for like a murder or something. Like this is going back 5-6 years ago. But
what?
He basically like just lives in like South America and just like bones all these hot chicks. And dude's like a multi-millionaire, and he's just like living in South America, living the dream, eating rats.
This was 2015. Someone's like, what can 9,000 get me in Venezuela? And he's like, that's over 3.5 million of theirs. It's all, you could rent an apartment and live there for a very long time. Put it in the bank. Minimum wage over there is 7.2 Bolivia a month. People get $7 or whatever they're called a month over there.
Dude, one Bolivia is what, 14,000th of an American dollar, and they're getting 7.2. So what's the math on that? That's like nearly $1 American a month. That's not even $1 American a month. That's half an American dollar a month.
It's not even half. It's like a tenth. It's 0.00010. Hey, if you guys in this stream watching go away with anything, it's let's all
move to
Venezuela. We would live like kings because socialism does not work.
All right, so you've got now real estate predictions for 2018.
Yeah, it's we're going to see Venezuela's market just stack because people are going to watch this video and everyone's going to move there, and the government's going to freak the fuck out because they're going to have an influx of American money coming into Venezuela.
Because two assholes on YouTube told some people to move there.
We could, you know, go to the luxury shops and, you know, buy our food and stuff from there and, you know, laugh at the people eating rats because, I mean, as fucked up as it is, and it's not their fault, but they did vote this jackass into office, so.
Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
The rats do get pretty big, and that's how they're able to sustain their family.
Oh shit, my girl is watching this stream and she just sent me a message saying, can you buy me a house in Venezuela, baby? Yes I can.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shit, $9,000, you know, you could probably live down there for the rest of your life. We're
gonna buy a lot of houses in Venezuela. Like half the city.
Yeah, right. And then what you do is you corner the rat market. That's what you do when you get down there. You corner the rat market, kill off all of the non like controlled ones, so people can't just eat the ones off the road, and then you sell them for $1 a month, $1, you know, a rat, so people can survive on their $7 a year. We'll just charge them $7 a month because their house is paid for, right? Since it's socialism, they get to live in their cardboard box.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good to go.
Did you see that fucking video where they're so fucking hungry over there? There was like 30 Venezuelans and they're chasing a fucking cow around a field. And then they eventually corner the cow. It's the most horrible thing you've ever seen. And they kill the cow. and everyone's cheering, going, yeah, we got the cow. Like, fuck. Well, you're the idiots who voted in socialism. And now you're eating rats and cheering over killing cows.
Apparently you can. To buy a house in Venezuela as a foreigner is risky. The Maduro government could end up taking it for certain reasons. Security is an issue, so we'd have to hire, some Bolivians to. I mean, not Bolivians. What the fuck am I? They're damn, fucking Venezuelans. We'll feed them. That's all we got to do.
Dude,
we'll feed them, and they could be our bullet shields.
You know what? Human shields are a lot better than
bulletproof glass.
And actually far more readily replaceable than bulletproof vests.
Yeah. Well, and especially since there's a lot of people dying down there. So, I mean, I'm sure some people would like, $5 American to protect us. We could pay them a monthly of $5 American. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars down there. So,
well, we worked out that $3 American would
$5 American is over 300,000.
And $9,000 would put us in millionaire status over there. That's like 3.5 million.
It actually went up since 2005. It's now 6.2 million.
Dude, just think of the bragging possibilities of this. We could roll over there with 9 Gs and then just go on Instagram and say we're millionaires. We're rich kids of Instagram.
Yeah. Just don't tell them where we are.
Yeah.
I mean, all these people in the stream are going to be with us anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Cornering the market like on Dragon Age. Yeah, any video game. Venezuela is pretty much like a video game right now. The market is so fucked that you could go down there as any currency. Shit, Canadian money, fucking American, fucking British, pound, Australian. What are you guys, dollars?
Yeah.
Why? Where the fuck does dollars come from? Because so many countries adapted the term dollars.
I'm just looking through the live chat right now. I've just come back into it. I love that someone's actually said Taylor Swift is too rich to still be flat-chested. Shit is insane.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, yeah. All right. Deus Fault. Let's go. Let's do it.
I think everyone's
everyone's on board. Everyone's on board.
He's all, we can be like little Tay. Oh my God, dude. Fucking kill me. But yeah, so anything we want to add before we call it a night? Anything? Actually, of course, I want you to shill your stuff. I would share your Twitter, but my Twitter's broken right now still, and they haven't fucking texted me yet.
Bastards. That's the thing. Like, when we move to Venezuela, we're not going to have these problems anymore, man.
Yeah, seriously. I sent them a message, and they sent me back the same exact message that they sent me the first time. You exhibited automated bot stuff. Like, come on. Exactly. Living in Venezuela, we could have like Grand Theft Auto style living and just fucking roll through there.
It would be like, you remember that scene in one of the Fast and the Furious where they just jump the cars? They were in like South America and they just jump the cars through the shanty town. Like, we could do that for realsies.
With some fucking Venezuelan jalapenos.
Or better yet, we could pay the Venezuelans to do it for us, and we could just...
Dude, honestly, like we could set aside like $1,000 for entertainment purposes and just like get them to do whatever the fuck we want. So anyone just joining the stream now, in case you're wondering, we're planning to move to Venezuela as millionaires in their country because, all you need is about $9,000 and you're good to go. Because if you wonder, socialism works, and that's why capitalists are about to invade the country.
Yes, status quo, El Chapo type living for sure. Except without the drugs. Oh no, there'll probably be drugs. We can take drugs.
Shit, there's probably tons of drugs. I mean,
Fuck
if you have to live in that situation, why wouldn't there be drugs? Like, I guarantee those motherfuckers are doing like crazy ass shit just to keep their heads straight because of how shitty it is living there.
Dude, if you can't afford to eat a rat, how are you going to afford to take drugs?
I don't know.
It's a good question.
I mean, maybe they all have government subsidies for opioids. I mean, it is socialist, right? So they get their meds for free, probably. So why not fucking say you have pain?
That's why the mortality rate is so low.
Right?
Great healthcare system over there.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, god damn, dude. Well, you want to shill your stuff and we'll call it a night?
Yeah. So if you want any further real estate advice, investment advice, holiday bookings, please feel free to contact me at Chris Logic Media on Twitter, or come and check out me and my sister on YouTube. We're over at The Breakup. You can find the links in my Twitter bio.
Cool. And you can also, at the end of this, you will find the links in the description. Thank you for coming on, Chris, and everyone else. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you guys coming by, and I'll see you tomorrow more than likely. Alrighty, guys. Have a good night. If you're new here, throw a subscription on the channel. It does help out. And links for me and my merch are all down below. Speaking of capitalism, I do have merch. So if you want to hit that Teespring and check that out, there you go, guys.